Hey, what's good, everybody? My name is Brant, and you're watching the Classic Physique Collective, your home for all things classic physique. Today, on the All Things Classic podcast, my guest is Valentin Petrov. Valentin is an IFBB Pro Classic Physique bodybuilder from Bulgaria. Valentin first went pro at the Arnold Classic UK in 2021, and then placed third in the pro show right after winning his pro card. Valentin just finished his rookie season in the IFBB, competing in 5 shows. Valentin placed in the top 3 in 4 of those 5 shows, winning the Southwest Muscle Classic and qualifying for the biggest stage in bodybuilding, the Classic Physique Olympia. Valentin is not only one of the youngest IFBB pros, but also one of the most hardworking, humble, and down-to-earth guys out there. I hope you all enjoy this conversation I had with your 2022 Classic Physique Rookie of the Year, Valentin Petrov. Yeah, hey man, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Am I the first guy to come on this podcast?
No, so I've had a few other guys. So I had Marcus Perry last. He was at the Olympia.
Okay.
I had the rest of the guys were guys from the U.S.
Okay, got it. But
yeah.
again, classic physique guys, right?
Yeah, all classic guys. Yep. Yeah. So
I'm the next jump on the train, man.
Yeah, man. I've actually, since putting up the story with you, and a lot of people reach out wanting to do a podcast. So I think it's going to grow. So
let's go. Yeah, I haven't spoken in a while in a podcast. I mean, I think since I won the California show.
Oh wow, that's been a while, right? That was what, September, October, maybe. Yeah,
September.
Yeah, man. So yeah, on that same topic, it was a crazy year for you, man. Like 40 weeks worth of prep, 5 shows, your first pro win, your first Olympia. So what did you learn about yourself this year? What did you learn about bodybuilding?
I always thought that I'm really strong mentally as an individual, because I started living on my own since I was 18, basically. And I did work on 3 jobs, did bodybuilding. I had a girlfriend back then, and I managed to do everything at once, going through my prep for a show. And I was winning shows against men, not juniors. I was still a junior, and I was battling against men. So I always consider myself as a strong mentally individual, but there's always something that you're not prepared for. And in my case, I was not prepared for. I was pretty much prepared for. I knew it was going to happen, because I knew for a fact that I was going to win a show and get qualified for the Olympia. But I've never done a 40-week prep. Like that was crazy for me. This is like staying in shape almost all year round. So for me, what I learned this year is like, it can always get worse, even though, I thought like I'm strong mentally and I can handle a lot. Well, there's always something that can make you feel even worse and push your mental health to a place where it has never been before. So that was my case, and that was my biggest lesson, that even for next year's even I don't know if I'm going to compete this year, to be honest. We're going to see that. Depends how it goes, because now I'm after a surgery. So I did remove my gyno. I had gyno, so I had to remove it, and we'll see how it goes. But even if I compete this year, it's going to be one show, secure the win, and do the Olympia. I will not go through that stress again. Do 5 shows back to back, rebound 5 times. It's not healthy, first of all. Not only physical health but mental health also. So this will be it. Like, if I'm gonna compete this year, I'm gonna do one show, secure my win. Like, I'm gonna go 120% ready, and then I'm gonna get my Olympia qualification and do it as a second show. Because I'll be honest, man, like by the time I went to the Olympia, I was not feeling it, even though it's everyone's dream to compete at the Olympia. But like the stress you put yourself to go there, and like the pressure the people put on you, and the length of the prep itself, like put me that amount of stress that I was not feeling like I want to do the Olympia. I was literally like, it was I was like 2 weeks out. No, a week out from the Olympia. And I told to Callum, who's my coach, I told him, I don't want to do the show. I don't want to do the Olympia. Like, imagine this is everyone's dream to step on that stage. And then I'm getting there, about to step on the stage, and I don't feel like doing it, which was crazy. So yeah, that's the biggest lesson.
Mm-hmm. And I think that kind of shows that, I mean, you do it for the love of the sport. You're not doing it just to make to the Olympia stage.
It was always like that. I mean, I came from a poor family, so I never had really any money. I did work different kind of jobs, and I did invest everything into bodybuilding. Just I love to train. I love to spend time in the gym. It was like my place, my harmony place. I go there, I relax. I put all of my anger into the workouts, and I feel good after. So it was never about going to the Olympia. I never had that as a goal. I had a goal to become a professional in this sport, but it was never 100% like I want to be at the Olympia stage and so on. I never thought of it that way. I just knew it was going to happen at some point because I know my work ethic and I know how to get there. So it was just a matter of time.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm, yeah. It definitely makes sense, man. So you said your goal really to begin with was to become a professional, which you did at the 2021 Arnold UK.
Yes.
And you made it to the Olympia stage in your first year competing as a pro, which is insane, man. And even though you did all that, going to the Olympia wasn't your ultimate goal. What is your ultimate goal with bodybuilding? Is it a specific goal, or is it something more internal, something like you just want to continue to progress? Or is there
I want to continue to progress and see how far can I go, but at the same time I'm getting so big, like I'm just on my limit.
Yeah, you mentioned 212.
I mentioned 212, and we really thought about it because I'm on my limit, man. Like I was 198 pounds at the Olympia weigh-ins, and I've never usually my cutoff is 200. I'm 5'7" on the good days. So my 200 pounds is like, this is my cutoff. And let's say on Texas Pro, the show, I was just 199.5 on the weigh-ins. So basically, and we didn't do such a crazy off-season. If we do one more off-season like the last one, this will probably be my last year in Classic. I mean, that's how I see it. It's going to be hard to progress and see myself get bigger and better. I don't want to set limitations for myself.
Yeah, that makes sense, man.
I want to improve, but at the same time, I know for a fact that I have a good structure and I can be pretty good competitor in Classic Physique. At the Olympia, let's say this year's Olympia was not that was definitely not the show for me because I was exhausted. But if I came to the Olympia like I did in Texas, I knew for a fact that I was going to get way better placing because I know that I have the symmetry, the proportions, the everything, the flow, whatever you name it. It's just not going to be possible for me to stay in this category for longer than, I would say, 2 years.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're growing at an optimal rate and you don't want to hold yourself back. There are a lot of guys who are just trying to stay in Classic, trying to make the weight cap.
Well, you saw New Curry. He decided to switch. Darwin, he decided to switch to 212. Yep. So It's the same with me. I know for a fact I'll always be classic. That I always tried for a classic look since I was a kid. Since I started bodybuilding, my grandma used to tell me, she had an eye for bodybuilding, so she always used to tell me, like, I don't want you just to put muscle on muscle. I want you to look beautiful, symmetrical. And she was always like, judging my physique, you need to put more on your shoulders and here and there. So since that moment, like it's programmed in my mind like that I should build an aesthetic look instead of just muscles and muscles and muscles. So even if I move to 212, like Keon did, I'll bring the classic look into the division.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'll never go super crazy with I'll just let my body grow slowly. I'll not rush into it. So yeah, man. I give it like 2 more years, and then I'll probably have to switch. I've spoken with Callum. It's going to be possible for me to be in this class this year, next year probably, and then if I want to progress, get better, I have to switch.
Yeah, and it's good that you see that.
In my opinion, muscle maturity hasn't kicked in yet, because I'm 23. I mean, I'm turning 24 in like 6 days, so I'm still young. So there's once I get to 26, 7, 8, I guess muscle maturity will start kicking in, and by that time, I don't know. Once the maturity kicks in, your complete package looks different. Like, so that gives me hope, probably because I want to stay in classic. To be honest with you, I don't want to switch to 12, but that gives me a little bit of hope. If muscle maturity kicks faster, then you're just gonna work on that muscle, and it's gonna get better, and it's gonna mature more, and you don't have to put any extra weight. Because let's say Brion has been staying in this class for years and years, and he's on his limit as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So if I can deal with my muscle maturity and just get better look by the years, I'll probably stay. But it depends when it kicks.
Yeah. Just depends when it kicks, and then when you can just refine.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of guys who are in that kind of they've been training for 15 plus years. They're big enough, so they decide to just refine, and they're not trying to put on all this mass, do all the drugs in the off season, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, man. So Bulgaria is home for you. You're back home right now, right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So, but you've lived in the UK. I know you went there during COVID lockdowns, right?
Yeah.
And then you've also prepped in the United States. You've got sponsors like all over. So you've got you're with HD Muscle, which is in Toronto. You're with Gasp and Better Bodies, which is in Texas. And then you're also with Hard Body, which is out of the UK, right?
Yeah.
So it just seems like you're like in all these different places. You're traveling all the time, man. So besides home, what are some of your favorite places?
Man, I always consider myself as a nomad.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been traveling and sleeping to different places, and I'm so used to that at this point that it doesn't bother me at all. So right now I'm in Bulgaria. Probably even in 1 week I'm traveling again, and I'll be out for a while. But all of these places, I mean, I love all of them. All of them has their benefits. Just to be, let's say, here in my home country, I don't pay a rent. I can save more money. It's more chill. Everything is close to me, nearby. Like my gym is like 3 minutes away. The supermarket is like 3 minutes away also. So it's a really comfortable place to do bodybuilding. But let's say compared to the States, in the States you have more choice of whatever, you name it. You have better gyms in there. You have better equipment in there. My sponsors are in there. Many bodybuilders are in there. Friends of mine are in there. So that's the benefit, let's say, in the US to be there. And then it comes the UK. My coach is there. And again, you have more choices than here in Bulgaria, because it's different situation in this country. But me and Brandon for Hard Body, at least he ships worldwide. The thing is, he ships worldwide, so it's a bit easier. But let's say now with AG Muscle, they cannot really we cannot do anything right now because they don't ship Europe. They'll probably start in the near future, probably this year or next year. But until then, it's like when I'm here, I have no choice. Gasp, I love Gasp. Gasp is my family. So being in Dallas, in Texas, in destination around all of the guys, it just makes me feel alive, and they're like so friendly, and we're like a family. Every country has a different benefit for me, but it just turned around that way that I had to go to different places and live there, and it's mostly financial reasons because Bulgaria is not the best country to earn money. Then States obviously is the best one, but in the UK I went there because many of Bulgarians go there to earn money, go back here in Bulgaria, spend money, and so on. So I was there for like almost 2 years. And even though I haven't said it, but when I prepped for Arnold, when I won my pro card, I used to work on 12 hours night shifts as a cleaner. And then people tell me they work night shifts and they cannot eat properly and so on. I'm like, I prepped for Arnold working 12-hour night shifts as a cleaner in a metro station. It wasn't the best job, but I had to do it because I had to earn money and do my bodybuilding. Yeah, that's the reason that's the main reason why I'm not based like in a certain location. If I want to be based somewhere, bro, I can't tell you. Yeah. I can't tell you this. I can't tell you at this point. I'm so over the places. So I find it home here. I find it home in the UK. I find it home in the States. I don't know. I think I'm at this point of my age where I cannot stay at one place. I need to move around.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't stress me anymore. It used to stress me at the beginning, but now it's like, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, you figured it out, and you know where you have to go and what you have to do in that place.
Exactly.
In order to make it work.
Yes. So I traveled a lot to different places on my own, and I'm now so used to do my luggage and be prepared for everything in every situation. So that it's gonna be like that, I think, for for the next couple of years, until I find myself a place where I can call home, mm-hmm. and where I feel this is where I belong. Mm. Yeah.
So which of the three places, so Bulgaria, UK, and US, has the best food?
It's Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Mm-hmm.
No doubt. Well, so the thing with the States is like, you have way too much junk food, mm-hmm. and more natural foods are really expensive in the States. Here are not, because I don't know. Bulgaria is a country where it doesn't provide that much of a junk food. It's more like homemade food, which is all natural. So when it comes to food, it's Bulgaria. If it comes to junk food or so on, it's the States, of course. And if you have different choices, many different choices. And when I came in the States the first time, I went to the supermarket, Walmart, I think. Yeah, I went to the Walmart, and I'm like, fuck, what is this? Like, so many options and choices. It was like, and I was on diet, I was like looking at everything. I can get off Walmart for like 3 hours. I'm just looking around foods and stuff. I'm so impressed by everything. And here, like, we have a couple of shops and they're based with the same products. And now it's, we don't have many choices. So it's you're more tunnel vision, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So that's why we have really good Bulgarian bodybuilders, and not only Bulgaria, but most of the Balkan countries, they have really good bodybuilders because we don't have many choices, man. We eat the same things, and there's no fancy shit. So yeah.
You guys are raised eating the right foods.
Yeah. But probably UK is the worst when it comes to food. Their own kitchen, I don't like it. And there's Bulgarian stores in UK. So when I lived there, I used to buy food from the Bulgarian stores.
That is nice that you have that, though.
Well, yeah. They have it in the States as well, but not in Texas. They have it in, I think, in Chicago, They have it in New York, those states, but in Texas, I haven't found one yet.
So I'm curious on the topic of classic. So many people have their idea of what classic is. So what does classic mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, people do vacuum, let's say, and they say, I'm classic. That doesn't make you classic. That doesn't make you classic. So first of all, you have, bro, I'll give you an example. All of my posing routines that I've done on stage are made up on place.
Just
They're not
improvised.
practiced. They improvised. And it just comes from my heart, The flow comes within myself. I don't need to practice it. If I practice it, it will get even better. Imagine, like, I've never did it, but because I'm more focused into the more important things of that for the bodybuilding, like the workouts and so on, and stretching and all that, I've never posing on my own, but building a routine, it's not something that I need to do, because I know flows and movements, how to go through one pose to the another, so I can just combine it and make it on stage. But this is something that you have in yourself. Some people just go on stage and they flex, and it doesn't come from their heart. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, like, again, proportions, symmetry, and I always put the flow into first place. How you transition from pose to the pose. It's not, you have to be more flexible. I've always done different, before bodybuilding, I did many other sports. I was an athlete, running athlete at one point. I have videos on Instagram where I jump from high places and I do backflips and stuff. I was always that crazy kid that do everything, and now I'm still like this. I'm still that way. It's just in me. So I put it into bodybuilding, and I do splits on stage. I even asked on the Olympia stage for the 40-second routine where you represent yourself at the beginning. I asked one of the guys backstage, can I do backflip? Can I do backflip? Because I want to make it look good. So I want to make a show for the people, and he didn't allow me to, because there was some guy that break his neck, and since then it's banned and it's not allowed. But being flexible into this category is really important. I would say, of course, the symmetry and all that's obvious that you need to have it for that class. It's not, even big bodybuilders, open bodybuilders, yes, many of them are symmetrical, but it's just the size of them that doesn't allow them to stay in classic. That doesn't mean that they're not classic. Let's say Cedric McMillan, he was classic, man. He was classic. He was just way too damn big to be in classic category. That's why it was his open. But yeah, many people now want to be in classic physique just because they think it's easier, but it's easier. And I see really nice guys, beginners, amateurs, that they pose really good and they feel it. Like, I've seen in Destination Dallas many kids that are really attracted to this category. And again, I don't, you just have to have the right insertions for this class. And in my case, I do think I have all the insertions into the right places. So that's the classic category for me, mostly.
So it's flow, it's passion.
Flow, it's passion, it's symmetry. You have to have it in your heart. But mostly, if I have to name it, like, once from first to third, like, the first place for me is like just the flow, because I've seen guys who are not that, don't have that perfect classic shape, but the way that they represent their physique is so good. People think my waist is pretty small. My waist is not the smallest waist. I have like 31 2-inches waist, which is okay. It's not big, but it's not tiny. But the way I pose and the way I'm built, and I have the way I'm building my physique, and I'm representing my physique, is in order to make my waist look small. So the way I pose, I make my waist look smaller. And let's say I put more size here, more size on my legs, so I make the illusion that my waist is smaller. So it's all illusion games. And then if you can't represent your physique on stage properly, then yeah, I think the representation is really, really important for classic.
Mm-hmm.
Not only for classic, but mostly for, like, I'm talking about classic now. It's really important, because if you can't represent your physique the best way possible through posing and through right posing, then, well, not going to work out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll say flow and yeah, symmetry, this is obvious, but the way you pose, this is really important.
Mm-hmm. So in that same topic, if you were not around today in this era of bodybuilding, and you got to pick if you were in the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s, which one do you think you would fit best in?
If I'm with that physique right now.
Yeah, just right now.
Jeez. I don't know, man. I would say I'm more 90s guys. Just guys who were in 80s and 70s, they look completely different, man. There's no longer looks like there's right now. Like I haven't seen pretty much anyone look like the guys who were in the 70s and 80s. Most of them look like the 90s bodybuilders. So I think I'm there as well, because, you know, Arnold didn't have the biggest legs in bodybuilding. Franco as well. All of these guys, they didn't have the biggest legs. Let's say my legs are fucking huge. So
yeah, that 70s look was big in the upper body, but, you know, kind of smaller legs, smaller glutes.
Exactly. So I do think 90s, definitely.
90s for sure. Just because you have that pop to your muscle, also just like huge quad sweeps.
But this is again the way I pose. I show people, because I am a posing coach as well. So you can make your physique look way better, bigger, and symmetrical by the right posing, like the right placing on your legs, your hips, everything. Mm-hmm. So if you know how to pose, I'm not the biggest guy, you know. If I walk around the other bodybuilders, because we saw that many times with my coach, and we've noticed that, like, we're walking just as a normal human beings next to each other with other bodybuilders. They look bigger than me. Once we get on stage, once I start posing, I transform, man. Mm-hmm. And and I'm getting bigger than them every time when I start posing. So it's the way I pose that opens. Yeah.
It's the illusion, man.
It's illusion. It's all of the illusion. That's all that matters.
And that's what makes some of the greats, because they're not the biggest guys when you see them, you know, with their clothes on and whatnot.
Yeah.
But then when they get on stage, it's like they come to life.
Exactly.
Because they know how to present their physique, and they just, I mean, they become like, you know, giant killers, you know, like Terrence Ruffin's a guy I think of too.
Terrence is the biggest. Yeah, this is the thing, man. Like, nobody really pays attention to posing nowadays, and they should. Mm-hmm. Like, you should know how to represent your physique the best way possible. If you don't know how to, you can sacrifice a couple of placings because of that. And I always know, your body changes every year. Obviously, you get bigger, you get your shape changes, so you have to practice it all over and over and over again, and find the best way to pose for you, just for yourself, not because someone, let's say you see video of someone posing and giving you tips. That might be the best way for him, for his physique, but not for yours. Right. So you have to find the best way for your physique.
Yeah, because you have different insertions, you have different strengths. Yeah. It's like one guy's strength, like, for example, your strength is probably your lats and your quads, your front shots. Your front shots are your best shots by far.
Yes.
You have some of the best front shots in the game. But
Thank you.
But like, if I were to stand next to you, like I would go like my back shots are my best shots. So I would want
Yeah,
to hit back, like I would want to make back and side shots my like the bread and butter of my posing routine. So that's
exactly.
a
So let's say if you have better front shots, you hold the poses longer on those front
exactly.
shots. You make them look even more dominant.
Mhm.
It's like now I'm thinking a few years back before I won my pro card, I didn't train legs for 1 year just so my upper body can come more because my legs were already huge.
That's crazy.
So, but I'm thinking in the other way. Like, imagine my quads are dominant. Why not keep dominating them and like training them hard and make them unbeatable? Why should I stop training them in order to bring my upper body? It made sense to me back then, but now it does not. So I'm like, this muscle group is good. I'm gonna make it even better. So when I get on stage, it's gonna pop out. Like it's just gonna pop. People's gonna see it first,
Mhm.
and they're gonna notice it first. So yeah.
So you don't think the idea of like laying off a body part entirely is a good idea?
No. I mean, I did it for 1 year, and my quads still grew. I still gained some size on my quads through cardio, just by
Mhm.
doing cardio, which was insane. But I don't think it's the best idea because you can use it also as a fat burning tool in order to just work them out. And I will never do it again.
Yeah.
You can just lower the volume, let's say, do less volume and not that much not that many exercises, but remove them completely. Nope.
Yeah, I think that's the best idea. I don't think many people with a lot of training knowledge would just pull a body part entirely, unless if
Yeah.
they're I don't know, unless if you're a guy walking around with a body part that's just so massive. But that's so rare in our sport because the whole emphasis is on balance and
Yeah.
proportion and
Yeah.
symmetry.
Yeah.
So you
Exactly.
shouldn't get to the point of where you have to
No.
stop training a body part.
No. Yeah.
So we got the Arnold Classic coming up in, I think we're about 9 days out from Classic prejudging. Um, and we're down to, I think there's 7 guys in the lineup now.
Yeah. Darwin is out.
Yeah, I saw that. Saw him and Cal
Yeah.
make the call.
Man. Here's the thing. I didn't say that. Actually, I did say it, but some of the people thought that I'm joking around. So once the Arnold list came out, I was not in there.
Hmm.
So 1 week later, I get an email from Lloyd, who is the manager of Arnold Classic or so, and he did invite me over. And I'm like, I have pretty much enough time to get in shape again. I was already refreshed with my mental health and physical. My bloods were perfect. And I'm like, that was the hardest decision for me to say no to. But,
Man.
you have to know for yourself when you have to step back in
Hmm.
order to, I'm gonna take one step back and then I'm gonna do 2 steps forward. And that one step back is really important for me because I want to get better. I could have done it, but I'll postpone my surgery with a couple of months, which I didn't want to do, because then I'm putting myself in a really bad situation with if I want to compete in this year's Olympia. I'm not gonna have time to improve. So it was like either I'm doing Arnold Classic or I'm improving for Olympia. And I was like, it was really the hardest decision. It was nighttime here in Bulgaria. It was like, I don't know, 12 a.m. And I'm getting that call from him, and we spoke on the phone. And he's like, "You're the first guy that I'm inviting for this show. Like, you're the first guy that I called." And I'm like, "Oh," he's like, "All of the judges want you there because of your great season." And I'm like, "Oh, why is it happening to me?" And I'm like, "Give me some minutes, like, to think about it. Give me a few hours, and I need to talk to Callum." And Callum I think he was flying from Dubai back to the UK, so he was not here. Once he landed, we got in touch, and I stayed like until 5 in the morning awake, think about it. And we came to the conclusion is like the best thing for me is like now to step back, get better, improve, and then I'll probably, if I have a good season again, I'll get invited again. I guess. I hope. I hope so.
Yeah, I think you will, man. Like the Olympia prep just makes so much more sense. I think from your perspective because, dude, you have so much potential and you're only going to get better. So that
Yeah.
Arnold Classic invite is going to be there in the future, man.
Yeah. I know for a fact, but it was like 7 people in there, 8 people in there. I was going to be the 9th one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking my competition in there, and I'm like, if I come this time like fully conditioned and the way I'm supposed to come, I could probably get in there. I can put some pressure on them.
Yeah, you've got top 5 potential in this lineup.
I do have. I believe I have. I'm not that guy who's gonna say I'm gonna be first. I'm gonna beat. I'm not. I know my place. And I always judge the way I see them, like truly. I don't act cocky or so.
Right.
So I'm honest, not just with the people, but with myself.
Yeah. And that's good to be. That's important in this sport.
Yeah. So I did think if I came in perfect, like fully in shape, I would be in the top 5 for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, you battled with Courage, and my picks are coming out soon. So I have Courage definitely in the top 5. I won't reveal exactly where I have him, but I think he's actually going to do better than people say he will.
I do. Courage is a really good competitor. I do think he has top 5 potential, of course. Who else was there? Alex was in there. Urs, Ramon,
Mike Sommerfeld.
Mike Sommerfeld is really good. Yeah, they're good guys, man. They're good guys. I'm still a young guy. I need to improve some and then get there. But I'm excited to, like, if I have to give my top 3, it's gonna be Urs, Mike, and Ramon.
That's your top 3.
That's my top 3, but it's not in
not in order.
No.
Yeah. Who do you think wins?
I do like all of the physiques. I like Urs physique. I like Ramon's physique. I think Urs is the best poser.
Right.
So if Ramon did win against Urs in the Olympia, I think he can win it again. He can win the Arnold. But when it comes to posing, I'm pretty sure that Urs will get the best poser award. And then I think it's first Ramon, then second is Urs, and third is Mike. That's my top 3.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good call. Very, very similar to what I have.
I mean, you can never say exactly. You can just that's what I say. But you never know what happens on a show day or one day before that. If someone don't peak for the show, you never know what the last hours are really important. So if I have to judge by physiques, by looks, it's Ramon, Urs, Mike.
Yeah, and Urs and Ramon have placed ahead of each other before. That first Olympia, Urs placed ahead of Ramon, but in the 2 matchups since then, Ramon has placed ahead of him. So it's so back and forth with those guys, man. It's and Mike has beaten Urs before too. So
Mike is really good, and he's not just a good competitor, but he's a really humble guy. I spoke to him, and I do love Mike. I love his physique. I love his looks, but I do think he just needs a little bit more. Just a slight more condition. If he comes more condition and muscle maturity needs to kick in a little bit more, and he'll be pretty dangerous. He can even win the show one day. He can win the Olympia one day. I truly believe.
Yeah, he is that good a
shape. He has great insertions, and his overall work is insane. So, yeah.
All right, man. I think we'll probably cut it there. But before we go, I just want to thank you again, man. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm sure this isn't going to be the last time we do a podcast or something like this. And just so people can follow you on everything, I'll be sure to put your Instagram tag here It's Valentin Petrov _ IFBB Pro. And then do you want to just list off all your sponsors and your codes and stuff?
Yeah, well, I'm working right now with Gast, with Flavor Gang, with HD Muscle and Hard Body. The code is Valayan to all of the brands. So yeah, if you want to support me or help me somehow, you can go ahead and try them, because I'm promoting stuff that I like myself and I use myself. I was never a guy who's gonna just sign contracts with different brands to make money. I stick to my choices. So yeah, thank you for the invite, man. It was my pleasure, and I hope I'm on here. I come here again in the near future. And yeah.
Yeah, man, I'll be seeing you soon. I might catch you at a show here in 2023 as well. So
We're gonna stay in touch. I'm gonna the next time I step on stage, I'm gonna prove myself.
absolutely, man. I believe
For
it.
myself, not for the people, but for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you, buddy.